Hello everyone! Welcome to Stampin' 101, the ink. I'm Vicki Heavner, and today we're going to talk about 5 different types of ink that are available through Stampin' Up. We're also going to discuss how you can use them in your crafting and card making. So we're going to get right into it. The first kind of ink that we'll discuss today is the classic Stampin' Pad. Now this is a water-based dye ink, and we use it for general stamping on cardstock. Specifically to Stampin' Up, they offer 50 colors in 4 color families and 2 in color families. The 4 color families have 10 colors each, and the 2 in color families have 5 colors each. One of those color families, one of the in color families, rotates out every year to keep the colors fresh. The purpose of this is to make sure that they stay on trend. Another thing that is available are ink refills, and you can use these to replenish your classic Stampin' Pads and even for other techniques, which is kind of fun. I do want to show you how to open the stamp pads, specifically the classic Stampin' Pad. What you're going to do is you're going to pull it up, flip it over, and then you're going to push it back in. And that's going to give you a nice base to push when you're stamping. And keep in mind, it's a foam pad, which is different from the older Stampin' Up ink pads, and so you want to just tap your stamp very lightly onto the pad. You can see here I have some extra ink I've taken from an ink refill, and I've used that for watercoloring. Yeah, so you can do a lot of fun things with that. Another trick to open them is to press down on the back side, which will flip it up, and then you can continue to open it. Okay. So the next ink we're going to talk about is the Memento black ink. And these 2 inks are really the heart and soul of stamping and card making, in my opinion. We have other ink pads that we're going to discuss, but these 2 are just the most common, and you can use them for many different things. What's important to know about this is that the Memento Black is a archival ink, so you can use it in your scrapbooking. And the other thing that you can do with it is color with alcohol-based markers. You do not want to use to watercolor with this because it also is a water-based ink. And I can show you that just pulls open, and it's a like a canvas pad. I don't know what the word is, but so it's harder, so you're going to be able to stamp harder on that with your stamps. The next ink that we're going to talk about is StazOn ink. Now, StazOn definitely has specific purposes. It is permanent. You can use it on really almost anything. You can use it on your window sheets, glossy cardstock, glass, candles. I know there's more surfaces. Oh, when people want to make stamp on tiles, and they will sometimes make coasters, that's another thing. So if you're looking to stamp and make more of a project, this is probably what you're looking for. Keep in mind, I know I already said that it's permanent, and it does require a special cleaner. So StazOn the cleaner gets it off pretty well. It can stain your stamps, but it won't hurt them. This is used most commonly, I think, in stamping for watercoloring. So it's definitely one that you want to add to your collection fairly soon. It's I'll show you. It has a protective little plastic piece, and it's reminiscent of the Memento ink pad. Now, the next ink that we'll talk about is the Versamark ink. So the Versamark ink pad is a lot of fun. You can get a lot of uses out of it. It's a watermark stamp pad, so that's the purpose of a Versamark ink is to give you a watermark look on your paper. But we have found that it stays wet longer, so we use this for embossing often. So you can see it's actually just clear ink, and when you stamp it on the paper, it gives a watermark effect, and I know that we've talked about that. And again, it stays wet for heat embossing, so you can use any color of embossing powder with that, which is nice. So it you know, lends a variety of options for your stamping and card making. The last one that we're going to talk about today is we have what we call the Whisper White pigment ink, and this primary purpose really is also for embossing, because it's very similar to the Versamark in that it stays wet and it holds onto the embossing powder. But you can also just stamp with it. I guess the big thing is you want to allow this time to dry before you, you know, you put the card in a pile or you layer things, you know, because it might smudge for a little while until it dries. It is also a foam pad, and it actually comes uninked. I've had mine for a while, so it's clearly inked. You can also use it for, you know, several different stamping techniques, including watercoloring. It makes a pretty very light watercolor wash. And maybe we'll do some of those different techniques that I'm talking about in some upcoming videos. But for now, I wanted you to just get eyes on and see all the different possibilities for stamping and card making, and give you just a brief definition of each of them. So thank you for tuning in, and if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I will get back to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.